Today on Primetime Local News, I'm joined by Janet Music, who is a research program coordinator with the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University. Now, Janet, today we're talking about food inflation. Is this something that consumers are already seeing on store shelves?
Absolutely. So food prices are up across the board in almost all categories, some more than others. So recently we've been talking a lot about meat prices, especially bacon. So bacon right now is about $1 per slice a pack in some areas of the country. And recently we've been talking about turkey, which has actually remained steady. But some of those more popular cuts of meat, because we don't cook turkeys every day, have really increased in price. Yeah.
And does this have anything to do with the drought that Western Canada faced this year?
Absolutely. So I think there's a number of mitigating factors that are forcing food prices to rise. And one of them, of course, is adverse weather effects. So I know it's been difficult harvests, so west, because of drought conditions. Also wildfires in BC and in California have really impacted the amount of produce coming in, but also feed grains for larger herds. And I would also say COVID-19 is still having impact on the food supply chain. So parts of the food supply chain are experiencing shortages of labor. Transportation is also affected as vaccine requirements are holding up transportation across borders and bottlenecking, shipping imports.
So with so many factors, is it safe to say that Canada isn't the only country experiencing this?
No, absolutely not. So the FAO has recently declared that food prices are up about 10% around the globe. That's extremely high. So in a country like Canada, we're very, very fortunate. So our food supply has been pretty robust. We haven't really experienced a lot of shortages. But adverse weather effects are taking place across the world. So if you think about floods in Europe and in China, and drought conditions in other places like Russia and China, yes, and Europe as well. So it's up across the board for sure.
And, I know it can be hard to predict things like this, but is there an end in sight, or are things just going to continue down this path?
So certainly we see the COVID-19 pandemic coming to an end sooner rather than later. And that will hopefully relieve some of those bottlenecks that we're seeing at borders and in shipping ports. So that should affect prices as well. And also things like packaging that are also, so sometimes it's not the commodity itself that's forcing the rise in prices, but the packaging that it ends up in. So hopefully that will also cause kind of a depression in prices. But I think overall, at least into the new year, we can expect higher prices in most of our food categories.
And I'm sure that's not what a lot of consumers are wanting to hear. That was all the questions I had. Are there any other aspects of this you think we should touch on?
No, I think that's it. It's not a great news story. I mean, we're pretty lucky here in Canada. We had a global pandemic and really we didn't have to change our diet too much in the last year, and climate change is a reality now for the planet. And so what we do to mitigate adverse weather is a very large conversation to have with many, many actors. So in the short term, I don't know. So.
No, for sure. Janet, thank you so much for chatting with me about this.
Yeah, thank you. All right.